Today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys the exact same Google Ads strategy that I used in my client's Google Ads account to scale it by over $400,000 year over year, while also improving the ROAS. So if you're tired of getting a poor ROAS in your ad account, you're tired of launching new campaigns only to kill them after a few days, or whenever you do seem like you have some success and your ROAS is improving, the second you scale it, you see that it decreases drastically. The structure and the strategy that I'll be sharing with you guys today is essentially gonna bulletproof all those headaches I just mentioned that you're likely facing, so you can start making money and managing your Google Ads account like it's supposed to be managed. And very important, make sure you stick around to the end, because I'll cover the 4 things that, regardless of the strategy that you implement, if you're doing these 4 things, they're gonna prevent any strategy from working in your ad account. This screen share in this client I'm working through right here, we spend anywhere from 150 to about 200,000 on Google alone, and this strategy works perfect for them. And so again, you might look at it and say, there's only 3 campaigns. There's a PMAX campaign, a search campaign, and a shopping campaign. That seems very one-dimensional and basic. And that is okay, because I can put my ego down and I can just chase performance, and I can know how to partner with Google in a structure and a strategy that makes sense to allow AI to do all the heavy lifting for me. In that same breath, I do not want you guys to be lazy at managing the ad account the way you know you should be. I made a video last week that unpacks 26 optimizations that you should be implementing on a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. So I'm not saying be lazy with optimizing your ad account, but structuring your ad account this way allows you to actually take advantage of Google AI to consolidate data so you can allow Google to do the heavy lifting and find the customers for you. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go through each one of these 3 campaigns. I'll go through the reasoning behind them, what you should implement in each one of them, and the things to consider. And then what I'll do is I'll explain the overarching strategy of how these all cohesively work together and why it works so effectively. We will start with the search campaign. This search campaign is just a branded search campaign. This is to capture your own brand name. If you have competitors, if you have Amazon, anybody bidding on your terms and selling a product that is similar but different from yours, meaning it's coming from a different company, you want to protect your brand name from doing so. And even Amazon, you're likely selling on Amazon, and if Amazon is bidding on your brand name and you are selling your product through Amazon, your margins are going to be much thinner than having somebody come directly from Google Ads and directly to your website to buy the product. That being said, branded search campaigns make a ton of sense to set up. My recommendation for them is you do not need automated bidding strategies for your branded campaign. Automated bidding strategies are very, very effective, but for your branded search campaigns, you want 2 things to happen. 1, you want to show up as much as possible because it's your brand name and you want to own it. 2, you want to pay the cheapest possible cost for it. And if you're using an automated bidding strategy, you're usually going to pay a premium. So the bidding strategy that I recommend, there's 2, is manual CPC or target search impression share. So again, branded search campaign makes complete sense to set up, fairly easy. All you'll do is you'll target exact match and maybe phrase match for your brand name, and boom, you have your ad set up. Send it to your homepage or your best converting page on your website. Another thing that I like to do when I run my branded campaigns is if you go down to experiments right here and you go to add variation, and if you go to this, you click to add an experiment. And so I would select my branded campaign in here, and then I'd create a variation, update URLs, and essentially you can create your own 50-50 split test on your branded campaigns. So you can test if homepage converts better than your best sellers page for your branded campaign when somebody's typing in your brand name. In most cases, I actually find that homepage is not the best page to send traffic to for your branded campaigns. And so that's why I like to run tests these way for branded. So branded is not a set it and forget it. You'll want to make sure you're doing things to improve your click-through rate on your ads, and overall make sure that your page is convertible when somebody's searching for your brand name. In most cases, they will already be very qualified and the conversion rate will be higher than your prospecting campaigns, or where people are just searching for a product that you sell. Okay, the next campaign we are going to set up is actually going to be a branded shopping campaign. For this branded shopping campaign, the purpose is very simple actually. We want to capture brand traffic for people looking on the shopping listing. So branded search is capturing when people are seeing a text ad for our brand name when they type it into the search bar. But we also want to be visible and bidding and showing for our branded shopping listing. So if I type in Adidas shoes, I want to be showing for Adidas shoes in the shopping listing as well as the search text ads. I want to protect my brand name in both placements, because if you're an e-commerce store, both placements are very clickable and impressioned. Now, when it comes to setting up the branded shopping campaign, there's really 3 things you got to do. 1 is make sure that you're targeting all products. You want all of your products to show in your catalog, or you can even narrow it down to your best sellers that you know sell when somebody is searching for your your brand name. The second thing that you're gonna wanna do, you'll wanna make sure you're using a manual CPC bid strategy, or even in some cases, target ROAS and automated bidding strategies for this branded shopping campaign have worked. I'm a big fan of testing things on a quarterly basis, so that might be something that you test. And then the third important thing when setting up this branded shopping campaign is to make sure that you are pausing search terms that come in that are triggering your ads. And the reason I say this, because in a shopping campaign, it differs from a search campaign, because in a search campaign, you're actively targeting your keywords. In a shopping campaign, you're not targeting your keywords. Essentially, Google is looking at your shopping listing, they're looking at your title, and they're looking at your description, and they're looking at what people are typing in the search bar. And if it is relevant to what they're typing in the search bar, they will show your ad for it. So if you sell shoes, for example, if someone types in men's shoes, your ad can pop up, and it's not a branded search, and it'll trigger your shopping listing if this campaign is set up. The point that I'm making is you only want this campaign and your ad to show up in this campaign if someone's typing in your brand name. So let's just use Adidas. If someone's typing in Adidas shoes, you're gonna want your ad to come up. And so what you'll do, it'll take some time to make sure that this is fully a branded campaign, but all you'll do is you'll go to your shopping campaign and you'll go to insights and reports, and then just go to search terms. And then what you're going to want to do at the search terms report is essentially you're going to want to exclude everything that does not contain your brand name, because the purpose of this is to make sure you're only capturing your brand traffic. However, you have to negate a lot of stuff that comes in, because at first Google's only looking for things that are relevant to your overall product. Over time, by adding negative keywords into the campaign, you'll teach Google that the only thing they're allowed to show up for is your brand name, in fact. So for now, what I do is I always add this filter, and it's search term contains, and then you'll type in your brand name, and then you'll see everything that contains your brand name, which is good. And then you can also do the following. You can do does not contain, and then all you'll do is, for example, ours is pretty work, so it doesn't come in a ton, but we still had 10 in the past month that came in. I'd add these as a negative keyword because they do not contain my brand name whatsoever, and I only want this campaign to trigger and for me to get clicks on it if it's showing my brand name. So you have to train the campaign to only show up for your brand name. And the way you do that is by adding these negative keywords. Okay, and the very last campaign you're gonna set up is a performance max campaign. This is going to be a performance max campaign that excludes your brand name. It's gonna exclude branded terms. The way you do that is you go to the campaign, go to settings, scroll down to additional settings, and then you'll go to brand exclusions, and you can add your brand name as an exclusion from there. The second thing that you're going to want to do is, from a product standpoint, what products should you actually show in this campaign? I leave this to all products. So whenever you go and you create your campaign and you're setting up your asset groups in this campaign, your asset groups are essentially going to host the products that you show, as well as the ad copy for the search placements, or the videos for your YouTube placements, or the shopping listings. And so this is where you're going to set all that up. And so whenever you're setting up your asset groups, I like to do the following two product groups. And so I create essentially the same exact ad. So whenever I edit my assets, these are exactly the same. I use the exact same images. I use the exact same ad copy, use the exact same videos for my assets. The only difference between these two, and as you see, one says top 100 and one says other products. And all I'm gonna do is segment and test essentially which product set is getting a better performance. So for this one, I have the top 100 products that get a good ROAS that I have data on. And so we're using a script to figure out and understand what products on an ongoing basis achieve the highest ROAS. If you don't have a solution like that, I suggest you invest into digging up that data, because that's how you can set this up. And so that'll be your first product group essentially attached to one of the asset groups. The other asset group is going to be other products, and this is going to be all of your other products. So this is essentially going to be all products besides the ones that exist in the top 100 campaign. So essentially this campaign is going to be allowed to show for all of your products in your entire store, but one of the asset groups is only going to show for the products that you know have the best performance in the past, and then one of them is going to show for all the rest of the products in the store. The reason we want to do that is because over time we can test these against each other, and as you can see, in other products, we actually get a higher conversion rate, but in our top 100, we get a better ROAS. These are going to be some of the things you want to look for and pay attention to. I love having those tests run together. I have some accounts that the top 100 does significantly better than running all products. So we only hyper focus the ad spend on the asset group that's performing really well. So if you had top 10 or top 50 products in here, you would only have that one exist, and you'd pause the one that is a very obvious loser. And so again, with Performance Max, PMax. This is going to be essentially your prospecting campaign. This will likely be your largest budget. As you can see, for us, this is our largest budget by far. We've been spending about $2,400 a day on this campaign in the last 7 days. And so this will be definitely your highest spending budget. And that's the way you want it to be. You want to spend more money on new customers. You don't want to spend the bulk of your budget on people who are already existing customers or people who already know about your brand. The only caveat I will mention in that comment is if you are running Meta ads, there's likely a chance that you're generating a lot of demand from Meta and people are searching your brand name directly. So I'm not saying your brand traffic will not bring you new customers. It very well can, but in Google, we want to make sure we're focused from a prospecting standpoint as well. And this structure allows that to happen. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Let's describe the structure, the strategy in just a few sentences and why it works so effectively. The first reason that this works very effectively is because you're able to have segmentation. And so as you know, we have 2 branded campaigns and then 1 prospecting campaign. The reason this is helpful is because there's been so many times I've audited ad accounts and clients tell me that they're frustrated because their PMax campaign is getting a great ROAS and then they scale it by $10, $15 and they see the ROAS decline drastically. And the reason this happens is because it's smoke and mirrors essentially. That ROAS is not real. You're getting a lot of that ROAS from retargeting, from people searching your brand name. And so of course, the second you increase the budget on it, Google's opting for more cold traffic. And if you don't have enough data on the success of what leads to a prospecting conversion, then essentially your ROAS will suffer. And so with this structure, you allow the proper segmentation and insights for the AI to build learnings on each segment for branded shopping, for branded search, and for prospecting. And so this way, when you scale, you actually have the confidence that when you scale, you're gonna either improve your ROAS or maintain a very similar ROAS. The second reason I really love this campaign structure and it's effective is because while we're talking about leveraging AI and letting Google Ads do its thing to go out and drive performance, well, in these 3 campaigns right here, you're consolidating as much data as possible. You are not having 50 different campaigns for the AI to try to piece things together. You have 3 campaigns, and when you have 3 campaigns and you can consolidate the data, Google, their algorithm operates a lot more efficiently because they have a lot of data in that one campaign, so they know how to essentially get better over time. But if you're spread too thin and you have several different campaigns, and essentially your structure becomes the bottleneck in you ever progressing and letting Google do what it's supposed to do. And lastly, my favorite reason that I really like this structure and it's effective is it's very easy to manage. It's 3 campaigns. This makes it very easy for me to go into my ad account and see that, hey, something is wrong with my branded performance. I need to go in and diagnose that. And it only takes 1 campaign of diagnosing versus 50 different campaigns where things are both using branded and prospecting terms in the same ones. It's less convoluted. And so when that happens and the segmentation is proper and then there's fewer campaigns to manage, it makes managing and diagnosing problems so much easier. Okay, so now that you guys know exactly the strategy, the structure I use, the main components of each campaign, let's dive into, again, the 4 most common things that you implement this or any other strategy, it will prevent you from winning. It'll prevent you from having a profitable ROAS in your ad account. Number 1 is very obvious. If you have a poor product or poor landing pages, it does not matter what structure, it does not matter how precise your conversion tracking is, how much data you have in your ad account. If your conversion rate on your website is poor or simply nobody likes your product, you will not win. So if this is happening to you and you've implemented and tried strategy after strategy and nothing works and you're off by a mile from where you want to be, I would suggest that you look at your landing pages and then you go even a step further and you look at your product and ask yourself, do people like my product? If they do, are my landing pages convertible? Do they build trust? Do they make it easy to convert? Are the page speeds fast? Are they slow? What's causing people to drop off and not convert? Number 2, I find people are just not optimizing their shopping feed. And when you don't optimize your shopping feed, this is essentially you not optimizing your ad, right? This is the thing that's gonna show when somebody searches for your product. And if it's not optimized, meaning you don't have reviews on it, meaning you don't have shipping dates, your titles don't make sense for your product and they don't highlight the benefits of your product, and your pictures are poor, then it's gonna be very hard, regardless of the structure or strategy you have in place, to win. Because even when your ads are shown on the shopping listings, no one's going to want to click on it because they're not optimized. The 4th common mistake is, again, you can implement this structure, but woven into my structure and strategy is the segmentation. Your shopping and your search campaigns, those to be branded, and then you want your PMax to be prospecting. If you do not add those exclusions or you're not keeping up with the adding of negative keywords in your branded shopping campaign, then everything's going to get blended. It's going to confuse you and it will prevent you from making optimizations that actually impact your ROAS. And most of all, you're never gonna know what's actually working in the ad account. And then the last thing is a lot of people are either not using smart bidding or they're not using it effectively. And so the reason I love smart bidding so much is because its number one job, its number one goal is essentially based on the goals you set on your smart bidding. So let's say you have a target ROAS goal of 300%. Its number one job is to go out and to get you conversions based on the targets that you set. And so again, this is really how you leverage AI. Smart bidding is a very big component of leveraging AI. So I love it a ton. It makes your job a lot easier. If you're using smart bidding already and your ROAS is poor, well, you're probably not using smart bidding effectively. And so if everything is checked out and you're optimizing your account properly on an ongoing basis and you're still seeing poor performance, then try tweaking your smart bidding. What I mean by this is either adjust your ROAS goals. Maybe they're too aggressive, maybe they're too conservative. Start testing those and start testing new bid strategies. Maybe instead of maximize conversion value, you use target conversion value or a target ROAS bid strategy, and it does better than what you're currently getting. So that could be the simple thing that you need in conjunction with the strategy and the structure I just went over, so you can start seeing performance improvements in your ad account. Okay, well, I hope this video helped you guys realize that less can in fact be more, and it's probably what you need in your ad account. And so feel free to give this strategy, this structure a try for yourself. Let me know how it does for you guys. And if you're looking for somebody to run your ads, to manage them, to implement this strategy I just went over, feel free to hit the link in the description and book a meeting with my team. Otherwise, click above to watch my most recent video where I go over my 26-point Google Ads checklist for your Google Ads accounts. Please subscribe to stay up to date with more videos like this.